Hey everyone, and welcome back to my Baldur's Gate Saga Completionist playthrough with SCS. And before we get going with the exploration of the inner Shadow Thieves Hideout here, I'd like to just talk about two things referring to the previous episode. First off, the one about Anomen's proficiency points. I thought about it a little bit more in between episodes because I'm recording this one shortly after the previous one. So I haven't had the chance to read your feedback on the matter, if there's going to be any. But I basically immediately reconsidered. That was just crazy talk. I don't want to go down that path where I just start editing their stats or proficiencies or something that's not their appearance. So I almost let my optimization min-maxing side take over, but we're not going to go there. Anomen, he's not a perfect fighter cleric, and he's not supposed to be, and that's totally fine. So we're just going to work with what we're given here. And I'm still going to go through with my plan to level up flails from scratch, so that's the difficult decision whether to continue on with maces or level something new from zero. But for that we're going to need 7 proficiency points, 2 for dual wielding and 5 for that flail Grand Mastery. And speaking of Grand Mastery, we're not going to really get to enjoy it very much, if at all, because considering that clerics get their proficiency points every 4 levels, that means that 7th proficiency point is going to come at level 36. And we are probably going to achieve that level. Usually when you play with a full party, your cleric ends up at around from level 35 to 38, depending on how much you do in your playthrough and how everything works out. So we're probably going to get there, but it's going to be so late in Throne of Baal that it's probably going to be shortly before the final fight of the whole trilogy. So we will get to enjoy that Grand Mastery for that one fight. And if these levels, by the way, sound pretty insane, that's just because of Throne of Baal and the last levels for some classes like the Cleric. Clerics actually level very fast, in those super high levels. But in Shadows of Amn, he's not going to get anywhere near that kind of level. And also, speaking with Anomen, I did change his appearance to that of a cleric, so he's going to look slightly different than a fighter avatar. And I also changed his shield. It's exactly the same shield to the Baldur's Gate 1 look of a medium shield. And actually, in the game files, there's no equivalent for his shield specifically. There's 5 or 6 unique different shields that have the Baldur's Gate 1 equivalent, and there's also plenty of plain non-magical or +1 or +2 shields that have the Baldur's Gate 1 look, but not this one apparently. So I just made this one myself here, and left all the colors and everything exactly the same, just changed the icon and the in-game appearance. So also, let's equip Anomen properly. Let's give him this mace +1 and this cooler looking helmet. And now he's going to be ready. And also the second thing I wanted to talk about are the Cowled Wizards, and basically referring back to the fight we've had with these muggers and thugs and bandits outside in the docks, the ones that ambushed us while invisible. And why I didn't want to buff Senashira with mirror images, for example, to counteract these backstabs better. And I've heard about I've talked about the Cowled Wizards a little bit, but never really in detail in how everything works out. And some of you might not be familiar with the exact workings of that. And also, I will outline my plan when it comes to Cowled Wizards. My plan. Anyway, so generally, whenever you first cast a spell outdoors in Athkatla, a Cowled Wizard is going to teleport in and give us a warning that, of course, we know about magic being basically prohibited and illegal in Athkatla. And during that conversation, we're going to have the option of asking him, how is it that some mages seem to be casting spells without any problems from the Cowled Wizards? And he's going to explain that there is a possibility of buying a license or a permit to cast magic in Athkatla. And in the government district, in that Council of 6 building, we will be able to buy a license for just 5,000 gold, so we can get it very early and not be bothered with by the Cowled Wizards. But I don't want to do that. And basically, from the second time you cast a spell out the door, and from then on, whenever you cast a spell in outdoor Athkatla, a group of 4 Cowled mages are going to teleport in and be immediately hostile and start fighting you. kind of like they did in that cutscene with Irenicus on the promenade. And I want to go through these groups, I want to fight them, and after like I think 6 or 7 groups, and there comes like a much tougher one with actually some highest ranking cowled wizards, actually named ones. And after you defeat those ones, you are not going to be bothered by the cowled wizards anymore. So we're going to basically achieve the same effect. And I want to showcase that path. I want to kill the cowled wizards. I don't like them. And you can get some loot off of them, but it's like very, very minor, non-significant stuff. But the thing is, I want to do it, of course, much later, because those are SCS mages we're talking about in groups of 4, and they're going to be actually like very high-level ones eventually. So I'm going to go that route eventually. And also, it's just at the beginning of the game that we, had some problems with these like outdoor fights, but the vast majority of fights in Athkatla takes place actually indoors and or underground and in places like that. It's just in this early game that we've had a couple of these fights where, it was a little inconvenient that we weren't able to cast arcane spells outdoors, but it generally like doesn't happen. And then of course there's a whole, giant parts of the games that take place outside of Athkatla, where that's also not going to be an issue. Anyway, now we can get on with the exploration, the exploration, and some conversations. So here's Tassa.
You'll first have to give up the socket money.
She's a pretty eager lady here, and apparently she's done with Aran Linvail. She's his plaything, I guess. And she's very interested in his gold, it seems. Anyway, here we have Kachol, whose name is very similar to Kachol, spelled with an O here, from Baldur's Gate 1. If you remember that mysterious island that Chandalar sent us to, he was the mage with the Ankeg companions. And here with Mitsu, she's another thief. She's going to welcome us. And also we're going to have some interjections sometimes. Like Anomen, of course, despises the fact that we work with the Shadow Thieves for now. Yeah, and basically says that Aran Linvail is not a man to be messed with. And generally, Baldur's Gate 2 doesn't like portray the Shadow Thieves and a figure like the Shadowmaster, I think, as it is portrayed in the Forgotten Realms lore, where they are supposed to be like much more powerful and like scarier entities, I guess. Whereas in Baldur's Gate 2, we hear that they are the most powerful organization together with the Cowled Wizards in Amn, but there's really not that great of a job made by the developers, I think, to showcase how like powerful and scary they're supposed to be in the lore. Here's one exit to the docks.
Yes?
And we're first going to explore like the minor kind of things in here. Oh.
It fills me with no small amount of wonder that you have not asked me of my journeys ere we met. We have traveled a short while, and yet we know next to nothing of each other.
And that's exactly the way I like it. I'm not going to say that just now. That's basically the first of his like romance talks, although this is not particularly romantic or anything. This is just a normal conversation. So I'm not going to be rude to him just yet. And that's also why his music changed, because every romance has a different musical track accompanying it. So that's the first conversation, and basically 3 out of 4 responses are pretty rude to him, so let's just hear about his journeys, I guess. Let's just have a normal conversation like normal people. So through this conversation he's going to explain how important it is for him to become a knight. And that's basically like the biggest goal in his life. And he's going to talk about some of his adventures, like he fought some orcs in the Omlur Hills. In great numbers they are a force to fear, but individually they are no match for a warrior. I myself was able to fight through many of them alone and take the head of one of their foul chieftains. So basically, if it's like a martial movie, when they come at you one by one, apparently you can kill a lot of orcs. And here again, there's no middle ground. We're just going to continue that. Okay, it's pretty cool. And yeah, again, I wish nothing more than to ride into battle with the crest of the Radiant Heart flying over my head. I'd say we're going to see that in general over the course of this whole quest line, that how important it is for him to pass that test and become a knight. So he's going to ask about our adventures that he heard of from Baldur's Gate 1. He's kind of distrustful about the truth behind them. So he can seem a little annoying already. But of course, here he's going to kind of become normal again. Yeah. Together you perform deeds as great as those as I hope to accomplish in your service. A wondrous thing indeed. Yeah, so just a kind of a normal casual conversation. We're going to cut off the romance at some point when it starts getting like actually romantic, but here, you know, I didn't want to be rude to him already. Anyway. Here are the torture rooms, and someone is getting... This is pretty grim, by the way. But here's Booter with the torture. Now, what's all the bloody noise about? It's not like I'm going to remove the red-hot poker simply because you start pleading for mercy now, is it? Oh my god. Now, you should have thought about that before you went and murdered your guild partners and their families. Now careful, your moving might cause real damage here, and then where would I be? Jeez. I don't think you really appreciate the level of craftsmanship you're receiving here. We've been at this for, what, 4 days? And you've only passed out twice. Do you know how hard that is? The lack of appreciation sometimes. Douglas, find me the pliers. Time our guest here found some respect for the craft. And here this like apprentice torturer Douglas, this kid, is just going to go away and basically like throw up in the corner there. We can actually talk to him, and he has a couple of, well, possible conversation options that, or like dialogues that he can give us.
Who are you?
Oh, this is going to be the Jaheira's interjection. But there is also a conversation that makes him like go away and basically quit the job.
Who are you?
Oh, he's going to be stuck on this one, I guess. That's sometimes, you know, this is basically the issue that sometimes happens. I would like him to give me a different response. But yeah, he's just stuck on this one. There's basically a short conversation between Booter and him, and where he quits, basically. Just he can't stand this. And then we can talk to Booter, which is going to, you know, reference Tassa, actually. I'd sure like to listen to her scream. Excuse me, drifted off for a moment. Yeah, this is almost more than I can bear. Yeah, so of course the good aligned characters understandably have a problem with like torturing and keeping prisoners and stuff like that. Here we're going to in the prison room we're going to have a couple of conversations. Of course, as always, feel free to pause and read them for yourself. I'm not going to read out loud all of them. Just kind of click through them and summarize. Yeah, so apparently, you know, being kept prisoner has made these prisoners kind of look forward to their execution, actually, because that's going to be a relief. And this guy is pretty interesting. If we talk more about him, it turns out that he used to be the right-hand man of Aran Linvail, but apparently he thought it would be best for the guild if he assassinated Aran. And perhaps I was right, perhaps I was wrong. Perhaps Aran will not destroy our guild. Perhaps the other guild run by that woman will be eliminated. I suppose I shall never know. The only thing I am certain of now is that my punishment shall be more agonizing and prolonged than anything you can dream of. Yeah, because the treason and treachery is treated very seriously by the Shadow Thieves, as we will be able to see in a bit as well. And so apparently, according to some of the guild members, the Shadow Thieves, led by Aran Linvail, have like no chance with that other guild. Anyway, these guys are pretty funny in a dark way. This conversation is pretty funny about like scratching this guy's nose before dinner time. And these ones have been here for years and years and years, it seems, from this conversation and the next one that we're going to have. Now I don't know if if I'm gonna scratch my nose or not. Look what we've done.
I have nothing you wish.
And yeah, here apparently it's been like 7 years that no one except the other inmates, I guess the other prisoners, have spoken to him. And this guy is going to explain how he's keeping track of the time, just making scratch marks on the wall, except that he seems to have run out of space on the wall, and now he's not sure anymore. Yeah, he ran out of space about 2 years ago, give or take a year, eh? So yeah, very grim fate for these people. Anyway, now let's explore up here. Oh, this is the secret passage that I think the trainer lady, Pelana, is going to talk about. If we actually, like, you know, couldn't find it and just explored this this area and couldn't progress to Aran Linvail, she just says it plain that it's behind a secret passage, and that route is going to bring us to Aran Linvail. So there's like 100 gold to take from here. Oh, 90 gold. And here's Missy, the Cloak Lady.
So long as you are polite, I shall tolerate you.
And she's pretty funny. Give me your damn cloak, now. My coat? Why do you not want a coat? Why else would I want it, huh? I'm Missy, the coat check girl, and I'm the best damn coat check girl that Aran's ever had. Nothing stolen here. I watch them coat like a hawk. All the trainees around here, they slink around like they think I can't see them. They try to steal things out of the coat, try to steal the coats themselves, but that only works on me once, girl. Last time I left my post even for a second, I came back and all the coats are gone. Not even a speck of dust left. Well, no one's making a fool out of Missy anymore. No one. So apparently that was a pretty traumatic experience for her. So for the last time, hand over the coat. I don't have a coat to give you. What? You don't have one? You think they put a coat room in this place for nothing? Get out of my sight, weirdo. What kind of coatless thief do you think you are, anyway? It's a pretty funny character. Here there's going to be a little obstacle course with like two of the Shadow Thieves just practicing or training.
Good to see a like-minded friend to be.
Yeah, so of course just feel free to pause. Not a very relevant conversation. They're going to fight for a while and then just leave. And after we go through this whole obstacle course, we're going to finally arrive at the proper training chamber with Palana, the trainer. Actually, let's allow them to finish, so these combat sounds don't play. They should be done in a second. Yeah, now they leave.
What is it?
All right. Let's move on.
Good day to you.
Apparently we're in the middle of training.
Speak quickly, citizen. I have little time for this.
Oh, actually, this shot wasn't animated, but it's supposed to happen. Boom, good shot. Oh, just like here.
I serve with my blade.
Good work today, Philos. Go and hit the baths.
Do nothing
And now with her, there's a couple of conversation routes, but generally it's going to always end up with her talking about how to go to Aran Linvail. Yeah, so she's just going to explain how to reach him, and that's basically it. From these, I assume, training dummies, I guess, we can loot actually some potions. And I think there's just some minor stuff here, and in this barrel there might be something. Generally there's been plenty of containers here, yeah. Like in the first room, the tables and stuff, but they usually just don't have anything, and they have one piece of gold, basically a chance of some super minor treasure to spawn. Here there's going to be another kind of a training section.
Good to see a like-minded friend to be.
Ha, finally. I hate these stupid trap courses. I'll simply press this idiot button and... boom! They always fall for that. Palana, I need a new trainee. Oh yeah, you have a chance of getting damaged by going on those. But we actually got through them pretty quickly, pretty fine, without receiving too much damage. Not that it matters, especially since we have that regen ring. Anyway, when it comes to...
We have the whole of Amn around us. What course shall we take?
That's a very early Jaheira's banter. That's normally supposed to happen way earlier than this. But, yeah. Just, of course, talking about us being the child of Baal, and that we have to remember about that. And here, Jaheira, stop annoying me. And trying to say that you would end up, against me if I turned to evil. Anyway, I wanted to say that Palana, it's actually a very similar name to one that we've heard on an item in Baldur's Gate 1. And there was this large shield +2 in Durlag's tower called Pelin's Shield. And here we have Palana. Anyway, there's going to be some more Shadow Thieves just practicing their stealth and sneaking abilities. And soon we're going to arrive to a little situation that you can pretty easily miss out on, I think. Because there's going to be this dude that is just called Shadow Thief. He doesn't have a unique name or anything, but this is actually a pretty significant event with a unique item in the game.
Explain your intent.
So apparently he's heard about us and has an offer. And apparently he wants to assassinate Aran Linvail. You must realize that his position is ripe for the plucking. Anyone with guts could take it now. The whole guild could be ours. So yeah, the guild is in a little bit of a crisis, I guess, because of that guild war, as we could see in a couple of places. But yeah, he's been overheard, and treachery is punished by death.
Beg for death, and I'll make it quick.
Boom!
Explain your intent.
That's what becomes of traitors.
Good.
And this guy actually had a unique ring on him. Actually, let's rearrange our inventory a little bit while we're at it. We have a lot of these potions of invisibility. We're going to have to utilize them on Kirinai for some backstabs. Not you. And here, I think since our spells recharged in the middle, in the transition to chapter 3, I'm going to use her in one identify spell. And this is a ring of lockpicks with a plus 25% bonus to lockpicking, to picking locks. I'm going to just sell it because we have no use for it with Kirinai on board, but this is a pretty decent ring to get if you have Nalia, for example.
Oh, no.
What
Come
is
on,
it?
kill something now. Yeah.
Patience, Lilarkor. A little bit more patience. And we're going to get to that. Anyway, if you have Nalia, for example, she's a thief, dual-classed to a mage at level 4, so her thieving skills, you know, leave a lot to be desired. This is yet another entrance to the docks on the eastern side. So this is one ring that you can get very early for Nalia and at least fix one of her shortcomings when it comes to her thieving skills. Although the more important one is the traps. And that is not so easily fixable, because there is a ring, just like this one, that boosts your find trap thief skill, but unfortunately that's something that requires way more like time and effort, I guess, to get. In our route, also, it's going to be much later that we're going to get to it. It's basically at the end of a serious quest line, and yeah. Unfortunate, because if it was available much earlier, then Nalia could just, you know, like swap. It would still be a little inconvenient with her to just keep swapping these rings and stuff. But, you know, at least you would have kind of a easy and convenient way to boost her thieving skills without the usage of like potions and stuff.
What is it? Without doubt.
If she's going to be like your primary thief, which she really shouldn't. Anyway, here we finally reach Aran Linvail's room, so let's talk to him.
Welcome to this place. I've looked forward to seeing you. I am, as you know, Aran Linvail.
So in the Enhanced Edition they actually have him use a thief avatar here, a thief model, instead of a fighter one. Anyway, I have paid out a huge amount of gold. Tell me how I can find Imoen.
Right to the point, eh? That's fine with me. You are a very capable person, and I wish to propose a trade of services.
I propose that you give me what I have coming already. I have paid. So he's going to explain that these funds apparently are being put to good use, but they've experienced some delays, I guess, and some problems. So Jaheira is also not satisfied with that and pretty impatient. We're not to be played with, Linvail. I should like to see results, and I should like to see them soon. Like, this is not how you would ever talk to a Shadowmaster normally in the, you know, in the lore. But she is pretty bold. So yeah, things are going to take time, and he's going to ask us to perform a couple of missions.
First and foremost, you will be compensated for the gold you have paid.
I will give you several magical items that are yours to keep regardless of what comes. And this is also like pretty ridiculous. Trinkets? You expect to appease us with a few baubles we could have found at the local bazaar? And those are actually very good items that he gave us.
Now I know you are eager to set off after Imoen, and I assure you that the time will come soon. It takes time to allocate the funds, however.
No. Everything is as it should be. There are merely some added difficulties that we have encountered. Yeah, he's going to say that this guild war prevents them from going further, and he's going to give us basically the first quest. We're going to have a couple of missions that we're going to have to do for him, and the first one is to basically bolster the defenses of their docks shipment guard. We're going to have to go to the docks at night and meet up with a woman by the name of Mook. We can ask about the nature of the shipment. Apparently it's some weapons. And he's going to also assure us that as dark as the Shadow Thieves are, we do not overstep our bounds. This new guild is different. If you seek the moral high ground in this matter, it is indeed with the Shadow Thieves. A surprising thing, but I assure you that I am true to my word. Examine your options here. By joining us, you have closed the other doors. Attending to the tasks I ask is the only way to achieve your goal. So yeah, basically telling us there's no way of going back. So yeah, the mission awaits. And we're going to do that later. This is Boo concurs. We must hurry and dispense with this errandry so we can get to the fighting of greater evils more worthy of my bootprint. So yeah, pretty cool. This safe actually right now, by the way, pretty cool room Aran Linvail has here. Some guards and stuff. And this safe normally is empty or with a chance of like some minor treasures, but if you ally yourself with Bodhi and eventually come here in this save, there's going to be a unique item that we're going to miss out on as well, but it's nothing special. Well, it's nothing, you know, too good. So now we're done with the Shadow Thief Hideout, and now I think we have time to also do one little thing with that, well, one thing that I've mentioned already. And we are required to go to the graveyard district at night to basically get this business over with, and I'm first going to do it the proper way. So now, instead of these parents, these halfling parents, mourning the loss of their, you know, little boy, now we have this spirit of Wellyn here, approaching us very slowly.
Who are you?
And he's a spirit that apparently, you know, can't get the rest in the afterlife, I guess. And he wants his stuffed bear. Little Man. The bad man who came into our house, he hurt me and he took Little Man with everything else. I can never go to sleep without Little Man. So yeah, that thief who murdered him also took the stuff that this family had, including his teddy bear. So our mission is to retrieve it for him so that he can be at peace. And he's going to say that this guy, Llynis, in the copper something, has the bear still. I've gone to him. I've tried to tell him that I just want my bear, please, but he just gets too frightened of me. So yeah, oh, we are surely going to take off Llynis, dude. We are so going to take care of him. Just you wait, bro. So let's just make a little bit more of our teleport, or make use of our teleport. Actually, let's go together.
If it must be done.
So here's going to be Llynis, and we're going to position accordingly.
Where Minsk goes, evil stands aside.
I thought you were that bloody ghost again. Again? You have been visited by a ghost before? Yeah, apparently a ghost is haunting him. And he doesn't want to say. He wants us to leave, but this ghost wouldn't be haunting you because it is a little boy you murdered and robbed, would it? Hmm? Hand over his bear, now, or I'll not leave until I've avenged the little halfling boy you murdered and robbed. So he's going to put up a little bit of a fight. And now he's dead, and we have this teddy bear with us. And now we can go back to Wellyn and give him his bear back.
It will be done.
And have this quest concluded. And I want to do it, you know, right now since it's nighttime. It's only available to do it at night. And then later on, after concluding this business, when we're going to probably visit the graveyard district during the day, at some point later, we're going to be able to talk with the parents and meet them in much better spirits, because apparently they will feel that Wellyn is at peace again. So yeah, here is your bear. You can go to sleep now. Yeah, and now we get actually quite a bit of experience. This is also another thing that you can do, like soloing after, you know, like dual classing. This only requires you to like kill Llynis, or maybe even just steal Little Man from him. You don't even need to kill him, but it's just like one little fight, and you get a nice chunk of experience if you're alone in your party, if you're soloing. Alright, and this is going to be it. And now I'm going to... okay, Minsk. I'm going to just show you a certain other outcome that I've prepared. Evil to the core. And this is from a different you know, earlier point in the game. I just wanted to show you this other outcome. If you already have the bear in your possession when you first meet Wellyn, you're actually going to have the option of just outright telling him that you're not going to give him his bear. Because normally when you receive the quest from him and you return with the bear, you don't ever have that option to just outright refuse. You can just tell him that you know, you're not going to do his quest, or that you haven't done it yet, but you don't have this option available. Never, the bear is mine, away with you, spirit. And he's going to be like, you won't give me my bear? You are so mean. And he's actually going to change to a revenant. And this revenant requires magical weapons to be hit, I think. Yeah, her offhand is not going to be effective. And we can kill it for a little bit of experience, but that's basically it. That's like the outcome. I think that's pretty like not that well known, I feel, because, you know, it requires you to not only be evil to the core, but also satisfy these requirements of already having the bear when you first meet him. So anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I'm going to see you in the next one. Take care.